Welcome to the Elite Life Podcast with your hosts, Trisha and Kylie. Here, we guide you on a journey of personal and professional transformation, revealing the secrets to success. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, join us as we unlock the doors to the elite world of growth, grit, and grace. So, let's dive in.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of the Elite Life Podcast. We are so excited you're here with us today. My name's Trish.
I'm Kylie.
Kylie K. Kissel.
That's me. We are excited that you're here. This is going to be an amazing episode. We're going to be throwing a lot at you, so get your pen and your paper ready, because today we are talking about the importance of branding and marketing and how to do it without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a very big investment, and how you invest it and the strategies that you use are very important, because when you learn a lesson in marketing and branding, it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. I'm excited to tell you all about that.
All right, well, let's jump in. Why don't you start with your story of traditional marketing? Was it radio? Was it TV?
It was radio. So you don't know what you don't know. And when we opened our real estate office, the big names in real estate were advertising on the radio. So we were really excited to
this
be able.
was 20 years ago?
Shut up. No, it wasn't 20 years ago. I graduated 20 years.
Back when I was starting off,
Yes.
we had to advertise on the telegraph.
Kylie just got fired. For all of you that were wondering, top producer or not, you are now so
Canceled.
You've been canceled.
You know I love you, and you're beautiful, so you don't have to worry about a damn thing.
Oh, you like how she throws in a little compliment? Like, please don't fire me. I'll say that you're really pretty.
You're
I'm
so
bringing
pretty.
tacos.
I brought you an Alani.
You did bring me an
You
Alani.
can't fire me.
I think that I may drink that soon. So when we started, we wanted to get on the radio. We didn't know anything about radio advertising or how it worked or anything. So we thought, you get what you pay for. Let's go to this big named advertising studio in Birmingham. So here we go. We are 20-0. Me and Andy. We go to this giant, and I mean, they were top of the line. They represented DTE, Blue Cross Blue Shield, like all the big names. But when you are a 6-person real estate company, you probably don't need all that. So we dropped, drum roll please, $10,000 to produce a 30-second commercial. They took us in a actual production studio, like you would cut a record. That's gonna show how old I am too.
Yeah,
this episode is all about how Trisha's 100, by the way. But an actual full out studio, $10,000 to make a commercial about Andy in the Elite Realty Chopper. We still have the commercial. It ran on all the major radio stations, and we got a total of 0 clients from it.
Boom.
Because radio, number one, is a long game. Number two, what we found out very soon after running this commercial for, I don't know, a very short amount of time, because it was incredibly expensive. We dropped 10 grand to make the commercial, another, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 on airtime. And then we realized, oh my gosh, this is an insanely expensive thing to do when you utilize an insanely expensive company who is used to dealing with companies of a much higher caliber than you. Like, for a real estate company to be on the same level as DTE Energy or Blue Cross Blue Shield Insurance is just not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, unless you're a big box brand where it's just big box brand name, alphabet soup, right? So if their company as a whole is dropping tens of thousands of dollars, like you see the balloon commercials, right? That's a whole different ball game than Andy and Trishy at Elite Realty dropping, $100,000 to run some radio commercials that brought us absolutely nothing. So after that, we found a guy And
I got a guy.
Yeah, well, he informed us. He was amazing, Colombo. He was amazing. And
That was his name?
Yeah, Chris Colombo. Yep,
Nice.
Chris Colombo. He was the coolest guy, and he knew how to help companies of our size be able to kind of penetrate that market, but in a more cost-effective way. But we had already wasted so much money with the company before at Burline that we didn't have enough money to sustainably stay on radio. But one thing he taught us is when you want to go on the radio, guess what? They will produce your commercial for free. So he took us in studio at the Riff, which was so much cooler actually than going to a recording studio. Like we went to the radio station, sat down in with one of the execs at the radio station, and he made our commercial while we sat there.
Nice.
And I was like, and it was free. It's part of advertising on the radio. They will make a commercial with you, or at least they did for us. So
nice.
You need to understand if you're going to do radio advertising, TV advertising, you're going to drop a lot of change. It's going to take a long time to get any sort of traction. So you need to have a marketing budget, a strategy, and somebody who can lead you down that way that is equivalent to where you're at in your business level, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are not DTE, even though it seems like you get what you pay for, you want the most expensive company, that's not true, because there's other people that can lead you down that path in a much more cost-effective way.
Yeah, I love that. So let's skip over to digital advertising. So this is a whole situation with like Google ads, pay-per-click. So this is what we're talking about, because this is probably the most prevalent way that people are advertising their businesses right now. And I feel like they get a lot better return on your investment.
Yeah, for sure. We actually, and I'm going to drop a big tip right here that I almost don't want to drop because like, it's almost like a secret for us. But we just got Google verified, and literally, Kylie, within seconds of Google being like, okay, you are now verified, our phone started ringing off the hook.
That's amazing.
And yeah, that's when Kim was sending in all those emails like, get in and take your floor time. Our phone won't stop ringing. So if you are paying for pay-per-click and you are not Google verified, understand you could get so much more bang for your buck by getting Google verified. So go through the process of getting Google verified.
So yeah, like what does that even mean?
So you first and foremost need to have your business listing on Google. And then you can go through a back end. Like if you just Google getting Google verified, there are steps that you go through. You have to provide them with your business license, your business insurance. You have to fill out the profile. You have to upload like a headshot that fits their criteria. They're very, very, very specific. I will tell you back. They kicked back my insurance so many times, and I had to go on online chat and
see, that's my problem as well. Like that's where mine keeps getting stuck.
You have to go on. I went on online chat and chatted with them and like walked them through approving my insurance and doing all of that.
That's going on my bat doc because yes.
Yeah. So get Google verified, and then that, and make sure also like your website is up to par. So the SEO and the back end pieces of your website, you can call Google and get a person. It's a process. So number one, be patient. None of this is an exact science. Marketing and branding is not an exact science, but there are lots of people to help you if you will be patient. So Kim, shout out to Kim. She took a lot of time. She sat on the phone with Google. By sitting on the phone with Google, getting our meta tags, our keywords, our negative keywords, our SEO, all of these things right on our website and in our backend Google Google platform. Once all those things are in place and then you get Google verified, it launches your site. So like when people go and they Google realtor, we are the first ones that show up, not just for Livonia, but we're getting calls for like Grand Rapids real estate. So we had a guy call that like wanted to list his house in Grand Rapids, and Kim's like, if you don't mind me asking, like, how did you find us? And he's like, oh, you guys were Google verified, so I called you first.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and Grand Rapids is 2.5 hours from us. So
take that listing.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Rapids is hot.
Yeah, so get Google verified and utilize those Google ads.
I love that you broke that down because that's going on my bat doc. Hold me accountable for that, please. So now let's jump into like social media, Facebook and Instagram ads. I know these are a little bit more affordable. I know you and Kim run them for the office, for our listings, for our open houses. How does that go?
Yeah, so I will say this, with Facebook, Instagram ads, Facebook and Instagram ads used to just be money-making machines because you used to be able to lead capture and you could very narrowly target audience for age and area and demographics. They did change the algorithm, so now we are not able to point our ads at, 30-year-old females in Westland who would be looking at that house, which is really stupid. Like, I understand they want to practice fair housing, but you do want your ads in front of the people that are going to look at them. So we have actually started utilizing groups more for our Facebook advertising. So becoming a part of like the Livonia group if you have a listing in Livonia, or the Novi groups if you have listings in Novi's. So, I mean, we list houses all over the state of Michigan, but there are some core areas where we list a lot: Wayne County, Oakland County, Macomb County. So I really have made sure I joined all the groups in those areas, because there can be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Clarkston groups, right? Waterford groups, Oakland County groups. So adding ourselves to all of those groups and then posting our listings across those groups have actually worked better for us more recently than spending ads. Yes. Now you have to utilize your personal Facebook for that. And I don't mind doing that because I work a lot of my real estate business off my personal social media profiles, because again, with the algorithms of social media, they push out your personal things a lot more than your business things. So you just want to make sure, if you're someone who's going to be utilizing your audience on social media for your business, that you're not just pushing your business. Like, if you sell makeup or you sell jewelry, your personal Facebook page can't just be all selling makeup and jewelry, or else people are going to tune out of it. You also have to share your life on there. So I do what's called like lifestyle ministry, where I share a lot of my life. We went to the concert yesterday. I'm sharing the concert. I'm sharing our photos. But I also share the homes I'm listing. So right before we left, I shared my brand new listing. Like, hey, you're seeing it first. I just listed this 5 minutes ago. Here you go. So that's how I really utilize social media ads. You can pay and promote your ads, but I think right now for real estate, it's not as beneficial as using those groups. But if you sell something else, like makeup, for instance, then it's not one of those protected classes or protected marketing or advertising spaces. So you could target that ad to women of this age that would be buying that product. So think about, would people this age, this gender, this area be buying your product online, right? So, if I'm a 65-year-old woman in Birmingham who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, I might not necessarily be buying $5 paparazzi jewelry. So you wouldn't want to market that to me, right? But if I'm more of like that 20-something, 30-something group in Wayne County, I buy paparazzi jewelry all the time or you're a mom, right? Because for me, when I had kids, they're gonna break all my crap, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of money on it.
I will testify to that. I will testify.
Yeah. So that's how I use the social media aspect of my marketing, right? And understanding, I guess we very first and foremost should have broke down the difference between marketing and branding, right? So like, branding is just building awareness about who you are and what you do, right? Trisha and Kylie, they work for Elite Realty. They sell real estate. Marketing is where you're really trying to intake clients and sell a product, right?
Good. I'm so glad you broke that down. All right, let's quickly jump through buying leads, because I know you have experience with this, and I know every brand new realtor who doesn't work at Elite Realty, they are most likely at a space where they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting help from my broker. I'm not getting help from my mentor. I don't know where to fish for leads. I don't know how to find leads because they haven't gone through Stars Academy. So shameless plug, if you don't want to pay for leads, go to mystarsacademy.com, sign up for the training. You will be taught how to fish instead of being fed. However, if you're at a spot where maybe you are a team lead and maybe you do want to buy leads to feed your agents to just keep the train rolling. Trish, can you just kind of like break down like the do's and don'ts of all of that? Because I know you have a lot of experience with this.
Yes, we have been buying leads since basically we opened Elite Realty.
What does that mean, buying leads?
So what it means is for those of you listeners,
because it's not just real estate.
No, and in real estate, I'll talk to real estate just because that's what we know. So in real estate, we buy leads from Realtor.com and Zillow. Most people do not know and or understand that when you go on Zillow, that site is not meant to help you. Zillow is not a consumer helping tool. Zillow and Realtor are a business. They are in the business of taking your information and selling it to realtors. So I buy zip codes off of Realtor.com and Zillow. And then when somebody goes on Realtor.com and enters their information for a house in Westland, that information comes to our CRM, client relationship manager, and one of our agents are able to claim that lead. So Kylie goes online, she looks at a house in Westland, she puts her information, that information comes into my client relationship manager, and I get a text message that says, Kylie Boyle, 123 Apple Street, Westland, Michigan, here's her phone number, here's her email address. And I'm able to claim that lead as my own and call her and say, hey, Kylie, I seen you were looking at the house on 123 Apple Street. What's got you looking today, right? And there are a lot of schools of thoughts behind buying leads. There are huge mega producers who say, don't ever buy leads. And there's some that they have built their entire business on buying leads. And here is what I will say. Buying leads, number one, is very expensive. And if you are not converting those leads, you are just going to waste your money. And here's the way to convert those leads. It's with follow-up. So you need to understand, number one, it's speed to lead. So when we buy, let's say, for example, a Zillow lead. A Zillow lead is a live phone call often. So you are calling on an ad and Zillow is connecting them to our phone. If we don't answer that call, the chance of us converting you goes down 87%. Mm-hmm. So if you are not going to be Johnny on the spot answering your phone and immediately pulling over your car and calling that lead and answering your phone every single time, don't buy
talk
leads.
On the phone and drive.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't buy leads if you're not willing to immediately jump on top of them and call them, because the chance of conversion goes down dramatically. 87% if you haven't called in the first so many seconds of receiving that lead. And that's where it goes bad, because brokers like me, we spend a lot of money buying leads and we're the ones that are putting out the money for the leads. So they're not as important to agents to jump on. They might be like, oh, I'm going to claim this lead and I'm going to call them after I finish giving my kid a bath. Well, that's great. I spent $500 for you to claim a lead that you don't call till you get your kid out of the bath, and now 6 other agents have called them and secured them as a client, and that was a waste of my $500.
Yeah.
But you're not paying the $500. So what I have found is when I'll get agents, they'll be like, oh, these Realtor.com leads are garbage that I'm paying for. Then they go and they buy their own zip code on Realtor.com, and all of a sudden they're the most amazing thing since sliced bread. You know why? Because it's their money. So they're going to immediately stop what they're doing and calling them, and they're going to continue to call them and follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up, because that's their $500 on the line. It's a whole different story when it's your $500 on the line
Skin in the game
than when it's somebody else's $500 on the line. So brokers out there, if it's not working and it's not converting, that's why. It's because your agents are not paying for them, so they don't care about them as much as they would if they were paying for them. And that's it. That's just full transparency, full stop. I've seen it for the last 10, 15, 20 years of purchasing leads.
Yeah. I love that. So
speed to lead.
Speed to lead and
leads,
follow up.
Buying leads are very expensive. Buying leads, it can be anywhere from $20 to $100 to $500 to thousands of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But like you said too, some of these people might be window shopping. There's been plenty of leads that have come in that I've grabbed and I've called right away, and they're like, oh, I'm just shopping, and we're gonna look to move in the next 3 or 6 months. And like Trisha has said before, you've had people be like, oh, we're not gonna move for 2 months, and then 2 weeks later we're under contract. Yeah. So even when you're following up and they're saying they're not ready, they're obviously interested. They're looking. They're out there looking. So number one, help them understand where they actually are in the process. Continue to follow up with them and provide them with value, and help them understand, like, you can buy right now. There's been people that I've picked up and they're like, yeah, we're just getting started looking, because people don't understand the process, right? Like, if you're not in real estate, you don't understand that you literally can't even look until you get pre-approved. You literally can't look until you have the cash for your down payment. Like, you need to get your financial ducks in a row. So when you're coming alongside these people, it's important to provide them value and education. And maybe they will be ready in 2 weeks and they didn't think it. Maybe it is a 3 to 6 month situation, but that person is your person. So you have, like Trisha said, you have to continue to follow up with them. Whether you're selling real estate or you're selling Beachbody or you're selling Young Living essential oils, having that follow up and being that person and not being salesy and pushy is supreme.
And I think that that's the big thing. Like, everybody needs to understand that when you are marketing and you are branding, you are planting seeds. And this is a long game. Like, people will drop, 10 grand on something and it doesn't work in the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And they're like, oh, I wasted my money. That doesn't work. Absolutely not. Like you said, people are window shopping or they don't know what they don't know. Number one, ask more questions. They did not put their information in online for no reason. So I'll say, how did that lead go? And the agent will go, oh, they already have an agent. Well, something is not working right with that agent because they're on realtor.com still putting their information in, or, oh, they only wanted to see that one house. Really? That's interesting. So what did you love about that house? Oh, the price and location. Great. So if I want to ask you a question, if I could get you the exact same house as that house, it was the exact same. It was next door and it was $50,000 cheaper. Would you want to look at that house? Yes. Okay, then it's not just that one house, right? So you do need to have a script and you do need to have what I call RDR responses. So an RDR is a reactionary defense response, right? And we all have them. You walk into the car dealership. Oh, are you looking for a car? Nope. Really? You're in a car dealership. You walk into a GNC. You need any help with anything? No. Oh, do you work here? You know where everything is on every shelf? No, we just have these reactionary defense responses because we don't want to put other people out. So we automatically just throw up this response that may not necessarily actually be true. And I don't want to be like that, but I'm just like, they're all lying. Do you understand?
Everyone's a liar.
They are, though, because they don't want to be bothered and they don't want to be a bother. So they'll throw out this reactionary defense response, but they need help. And you need to understand that. Like, your job is not to sell them that house that they inquired on. Your job is to get a really good understanding of their needs, their wants, and their problem that they have, because everybody has a problem, right? Their house is too small. It's not in the right area. They need to relocate. They need something bigger. They need something smaller. They need something on the lake, whatever it is. There's a problem. And there's a great book. It's called Gap Selling. So there is where they are today and where they want to get to, and the problem in the middle. You got to fill that gap. That is your job as a salesperson, right? And people don't like to be called salespeople. So consider yourself a problem solver. How are you going to solve that problem? You can't solve that problem if you don't even know what the problem is. So I hear people all the time, whether it's a radio commercial or buying an ad or whatever it is, and they go, hey, how can I help you today? And they're like, I don't need any help. And they're like, okay, cool, bye. Bro, you did not ask enough questions. Think of everybody like an onion. You have to peel away the layers of that onion. You got to get all that yucky grossness off the top, right? Those reactionary defense responses and all those walls they've built up because they think that you're just some random worker getting $5 an hour to just bang out phone calls, right? You need to help them understand you are human who is very excited to help them get to the next level. And when you can engage them human to human as a person who's really excited to help them get to that next space, you're going to win every time. And that's the difference between my agents that convert leads and my agents that don't. Do you sound super excited to help them get to the next level? Did you ask them enough questions about where they're at and where they want to be? Because if you're not having long conversations, if all your calls are, nope, just that house, hang up. Nope, I have an agent, hang up. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong. And I don't say that to be a jerk or to say that you're wrong. I'm just saying, let's sit down. Let's listen to your calls. Let's go back to the script. Let's practice some objection handlers or reactionary defense responses so that we can help you to convert more of that, because marketing is expansive.
It is.
And you're not going to convert them if you're not taking the time.
Right. And then it's all a waste. So let's quickly run through, because I know we got a couple things here that we wanted to touch on before we wrap up. Let's talk about like swag, branded merch, because I know we just did this for the Memorial Day parade. We partnered with a local summer camp. We're excited to work with Skull Island, help them raise money to send kids to camp. So Trisha, when we were talking about what we wanted to put our brand on, like what did we want the Elite Realty brand on? Kylie was like, oh, let's do water bottles. Trisha's like, people are going to throw those away. And I'm like, oh, let's do bags. And she's like, people are going to throw those away. People are going to so snacks, a lot of people go straight for snacks, right? People are going to consume those things and then they're going to go away. So Trisha was like, let's do chapstick. People are constantly looking for chapstick. And even though it does get lost a lot, but still, that's something that people hold on to. It goes in your purse. It goes in your bag. It goes in your car. I love the reusable water bottles. So if you want to do water bottles or something like that, make sure you're not slapping a sticker on a Kroger water bottle. Make sure it's something that people can reuse. And that way it stays in their mind. It fits on their bike. They're using it all the time. And even if they might not, go, real estate, you're right there. You're right in front of them all the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing to remember, like, what do you hold on to? So for us, like you mentioned, I did sunglasses.
I love the sunglasses.
Everybody in the world wants sunglasses. So think about, like, number one, what would you want? What will you hold on to? What are you going to look at all the time? Because that's what you should be putting your logo on. And understand that these things are not going to bring you clients. They're to build your brand in their mind. So they go, oh yeah, I've heard of Elite Realty. So branding and marketing, they go hand in hand. Marketing is like buying clients. Branding is like building awareness of who you are and what you look like, right? So I love sunglasses. I love backpacks because the kids always need those little cinch bag backpacks.
Yep.
I love those water bottles, the gym bottles. Everybody always needs them. Somebody walked into their kid's daycare and took a picture and sent it to me. We had done an event like around the daycare, and like 6 kids the next day brought our Elite Realty squeezy water bottles, sports bottles.
Boom.
So put your stuff on things that everybody can use of all ages. They're going to keep around. It's going to be seen. They're going to look at it and understand that those things are not going to bring you an immediate return, but also buy in bulk. So buying the chapstick in bulk was huge.
You brought 37,000 chapsticks.
Yes. Yeah. Buy in bulk. 4imprint.com. The number 4imprint.com is a great place to buy branded swag. And the more you buy, the cheaper it is. And if you don't use it for this event, you'll use it for another event. So like, that's another thing I want to just drop in really quick is like in-person events. Like in-person events, you are there to build your brand and introduce yourself face-to-face to the people. If you don't get one client from that event, that is 100% okay. You planted the seeds in all of those people's minds of who you are. So we're at Skull Island. We're handing out stuff. People are seeing our logo on our clothes. They're seeing our logo on our stuff. And then they're meeting us. And then they're driving down M59 and they're seeing my sign. And then they're calling that sign because they're like, oh yeah, I know Elite Realty. I've heard of them. They might not remember exactly where they've seen us, but they've seen our logo and our name so many times. Now we're somebody that they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
So when we're talking about your branded gear, the other thing I think that is really important to think about is like, Nike, they pay people to wear Nike stuff. Why? Because when people see Serena Williams wearing Nike gear, now they want to wear Nike gear, right? They notice it. She becomes a brand name, and that just increases that brand awareness for Nike. It's the same for your business. Andy actually brought this up to me, like, why would I be wearing like a Honey Bake Hockey t-shirt when I could be wearing an Elite Realty t-shirt and people can look at it and go, oh, you're in real estate, and start conversations with me. And that really resonated. And I started, like, every time I go out out to a public place, I'm always wearing my Elite Realty hat. I go on
love my
vacation,
hat.
Elite Realty hat. I'm on the plane, Elite Realty hat. My Elite Realty hat starts more conversations for me that I can get clients from than anything else. So when you're talking about your branded gear, it's not just important to have stuff to give out to other people, but you should always be wearing your branded gear.
Just
because
tattoo your logo right on your forehead.
it is such a good conversation starter. And I've got clients like from when I go to get my glasses from the optometrist, from I'm at the grocery store, I'm at the gym. I've gotten so many clients from the gym because I have Elite Realty tank tops.
It's
and
because
hats.
you literally live in there.
That's true too. But that's a big thing. Like, you know, like I was saying, branding builds brand awareness, not necessarily brings you clients, but it can bring you clients if you're wearing it and it's starting conversations. So just, I think the big thing I wanted to hit home in this episode was like your mindset, because when I first started, I would think, oh, we just held this event and we didn't get a client from it. The event's a failure. Not at all. Are you kidding me? When we held that event for Fall Fest at Waterford, over 350 people that day learned who Elite Realty was. They learned where we're at. So when they are ready, they're going to go, oh, remember that real estate company that puts on all those great events and gives back to the community? We should call them, right? Yeah. They have our gear in their house. They've seen us. They've met us. I told you when I was at Skull Island, you guys did the Memorial Day parade before the Skull Island open house, and I'm sitting there helping Dave with photos, and this girl comes up and she's like, are you the person we met at the Memorial Day parade? We loved her and we loved her kids, and when we buy a house, we're gonna buy one from her. And I was like, oh, you must be talking about my cousin Kylie. Oh yeah, where is she? And I was like, I don't know whether I should be offended that they didn't want to talk to me or like so super proud that you did such a good job showing up at that event that those people came to the next event just to see you, right? So you may not have sold a house at the Memorial Day parade, but you made a client for life because they loved you and they came to the next event to look for you, right?
Yeah, we had a good time. So don't underestimate the power of community events. And the next thing we want to touch on really quick is super long game, like super duper long game. And those are mailers.
Yeah, and mail it's gotten more expensive, and I really feel like you have to be strategic about your mailing. And you know, again, we may be biased by the things that we do and how we interact with the world, right? Like I've always said, I would never send out real estate postcards because, like, especially at the house that I used to live at when I was on Luke Lane, I would get my mail and there would be like 17 real estate postcards that all look the same. None of them caught my eye. And I literally would go, garbage.
Right.
I didn't look at them. I didn't go through them. Now that may be because I'm in real estate. It may be because there was so many in my mailbox. It could be a plethora.
But if there
of
was
things.
one that caught your eye, you would at least look at it and say, oh,
yes,
this caught my eye. Maybe I could do something like that.
Yeah. So when I mail, I try to really stand out. Like Erica Kruppen, right? She
hot
has
pink.
Yep, hot pink. So when I just helped her find a space in Northville for her business. I said, Erica, the first thing you need to do is go online and find hot pink envelopes. And then I want you to mail every single person in the neighborhood behind your new business your hot pink envelopes and a flyer inside that says, our business is new to the neighborhood. Let us scoop your poop for you. Save you the time, the energy, and the mess. We'll take the dirty work off your hands. Everybody's going to open a pink envelope. Who would not open a pink envelope? Everybody. But if she just sends a flyer or she just sends a postcard, that probably will not get as many eyes on it as a pink envelope that they have to open that is handwritten.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I mail, I really think about it, and I might pay a little bit extra to pay for pink envelopes or black envelopes or green envelopes, and it might take a little bit of extra time or a little bit of extra money because either I'm not going to handwrite my envelopes, I'll probably pay a kid to handwrite it, right? And if you have a kid, let your kid handwrite your envelopes for you, right? Trent, that actually used to be a punishment when he was a kid. If he was bad, I'd make him come in and address envelopes. But I did that because If it's just a label, I'm less likely to open it than handwritten, right? If it's just a postcard, I'm less likely to pay attention to it as opening a pink or a black envelope.
Right. If you get a black envelope with like silver writing on it that looks like a freaking prom invitation, you're going to open it.
100% of the time. Now, that is not to say that there was a long period of time where we used to mail expireds and they were just labeled. They were just in white legal envelopes, and I had a piece of paper that we printed out that was just a little letter. I see your house when expired, blah, 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 blah. Now, we say it's the long game because when we mailed expireds like that, I would have somebody come in and they'd have this wrinkled up piece of paper and they'd be like, I've been holding this letter for 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So we're mailing people. They're keeping the letter because they liked what we said, they liked our presentation, but they don't necessarily need our service yet. So they keep the letter until they need your service.
Yeah.
So knowing again that's a long game. And I've talked to some big name brokers in the business and I've said, do you mail? And they're like, no, because it's like you start and you're not getting anything and then it takes so long and you're mailing and then you just forget about it. So mailing can be very lucrative, but number one, you got to stand out. Number two, you have to be consistent. And number three, you got to be consistent for a long, 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 long time. So if you can get a service where you can like set it and forget it, or you have an intern or you have an assistant or somebody that can just do it for you steady all the time, that's how you win at mailing. And again, just like I was saying before, I got to really hammer this home. Mindset is everything. Because if you just dabble here and dabble there and dabble here and dabble there, you will just spend a lot of money and you won't get anything from it. Because you're like throwing seeds into a field and then throwing seeds into another field and then another field and then another field and then another field, right?
You have to have a strategy.
You got to have a strategy. Strategy is everything. Consistency is everything. And just staying on it, not just for a week or a month or even a year. It may take multiple years and you will watch that compound. So I always say think about it like pillars. Like these are the 3 pillars that I want to have in my business. It might be live events, social media, and mailers. That means those are the 3 things I do consistently every day, every week, every month, every year for years and years and years and years and years. And at the end of the year, I audit and I say, this is how much I sent. This is how much I got back. Do I want to do it again next year? Yes. Okay. This is how much I spent. This is how much I got back. Did it grow from last year? Yes. Okay. Then I'm going to continue. Did it not grow from last year? Okay. Maybe that's something I hang up and I start a new pillar. But it's marketing and branding. None of it is stuff that you can just do willy-nilly. You got to have a strategy and you got to do it for a long time.
Got to be consistent.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that is all the tips and tricks we have for you today. I hope you're able to take some nuggets from it, whether you're selling real estate or you're selling oils or you're selling jelly shoes. I hope that this was super helpful for you. Don't forget to slap that subscribe button if you like the episode, share with a friend, and make sure you come back next Thursday because we drop fresh content all over the place, and we will have another episode of The Elite Life for you.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on the Elite Life Podcast with Trish and Kylie. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend so we can keep delivering you more fantastic insights on grit, grace, and growth. Stay connected with us on Instagram and Facebook, where we'll keep the ideas flowing to help you build a life you love and leave a legacy you can be proud of. Until next time.